Hey, what's up? This is Coach Matt. Today, had a request to kind of go through some more details on the tripod transition, which is a movement you'll see a lot in parkour that I was introduced through MoveNat, which is kind of like an offshoot of that. So the tripod transition, I'll go ahead and show it, and it'll be easier to do kind of from this crouched position to get in the camera. But essentially think of this as breaking down a little bit of the step vault and kind of what that can look like. So as we step vault, normally I have one hand and one foot on top of the vault box or object, rail, whatever. This leg is sliding through, and as I slide through, I end up stepping down and running out. We're doing it from a lower object, usually the floor or a 2x4 or a balance rail, and this allows us to challenge your precision and control a little bit more, and also do it in a safer manner. If I fall, I'm just sitting on the ground. I'm not falling off of any height. And it's also useful to think about, like, if I was on a branch, let's say I was standing something, and I wanted to get down and be closer and maybe even sit on something, that's gonna help me practice that position. So it's great for the core and shoulder stability and balance, but it also has some practical utility. What I'm gonna do when I set up for this, I'm gonna start off by picking a line on the floor, especially if I'm doing this just at home or wherever, and I'm gonna line the ball of my foot up right along with the floor, and I want my feet to be relatively narrow, not a wide stance. From here, we're gonna go into a deep knee bend, which is essentially sitting down, my butt onto my heels, allowing my heels to come off the ground. Now, a lot of people worry, like, well, aren't my knees in front of my toes? Well, relative to where the toe is, if I were to come up at the same angle my ankle is making, the knee is still behind the toes, so it's not putting a ton of pressure on it at that angle, okay? So this should feel fine in your knees. I'm maintaining a tall posture. From here, what I want to do is reach out to the side far enough that I give myself the ability to transfer some weight onto that hand, and then I can kick this leg through. So I transition from weight on 2 feet to lean over to the side. Weight is now on my outside foot and my hand, and I can slide that middle leg through or kick it back. And what I like to have people do to start is go ahead and put your foot down on either side as you transition, and then you can progress this by keeping the foot in the air, which requires a lot more balance as you do that transition. I want to be able to replace the foot back precisely where it was, and then go to the other side. So you can progress this by playing around with the surface you're on, narrower surfaces. You can play with how wide or how narrow your hand is to make it more challenging, and then also adding pauses in each position. Give those tips a try for your tripod transition and see if it helps.